The MLA Works Cited page consists of works cited entries. One entry is made for one different source used in your research paper. These entries contain specific pieces of information about the source you are using in your research paper. The different pieces of information are called core elements. The author, title, publisher, and date are core elements. The information or the core elements are organized in specific ways. The organization is determined by MLA or the Modern Language Association. If certain pieces of information or core elements are not provided, skip and move ahead to the next core element. The first piece of information or core element is the author. If this element is present, write it out or style it by following the MLA styling rules. If there is one author, style it by writing the author's last name first, follow this by a comma, and then the first name, and end with the period. If there are two authors, last name, comma, first name, comma, and first last name, period. For three or more authors, last name of the first mentioned author, comma, first name, comma, AL, period. Once you have provided information about the author, look for the second core element, which is the title of the source. There is an important question to keep in mind when you style the title of the source in MLA. First of all, determine if the source is contained in a container or is itself a container. To clarify what this means, let's look at some examples. This essay by Wendell Berry is found inside of this book, and this book contains many other essays. In other words, this essay is contained inside of the container. The container in this case is the book called Saving Place. Saving Place is the container because it houses Wendell Berry's essay along with other essays. Why is it then important to distinguish between the contained and the container? MLA requires that titles of contained sources be enclosed in quotation marks. The period should go before the quotation mark. After that, MLA requires that the title of the container should be italicized with a comma going after them. Let's take a look at two more examples. This online article is found on a website. The website has many articles. In other words, the online article is contained within a container, the container being the website being the Atlantic. You style this in the very same way by enclosing the title of the article within quotation marks. The container is italicized and a comma follows since the rest of the core elements will be used to describe the container. The third example shows a YouTube video. Since YouTube contains many videos, treat the video as the contained and YouTube as the container. You will see that you will style the title of the video in the same way as the other examples. The title is enclosed within quotation marks, and the period goes before the quotation marks. The website, which is YouTube, is the container, and all containers are italicized. Follow the container with a comma. What about the other sources that are not part of containers? For example, what about a movie that is complete on its own? Or a novel that is a complete book found all on its own? Or a complete autobiography that is not part of a container? Or a biographical or cultural analysis work that stands all on its own? MLA defines these as self-contained sources or just containers. How were the titles of containers written or styled in the MLA works cited entries? MLA asks that we treat the titles of containers as titles of sources. Titles of containers are italicized and followed by a period. MLA asks that you skip item number 3, which is the title of the container and a comma. You skip it and you just focus on titling the source, italicizing it, and ending it in a period. When you put this in practice, you will see that the movie title is italicized and followed by a period. The complete book, Norwegian Wood, is also italicized and followed by a period. Frederick Douglass's My Bondage and My Freedom is a container, which is also italicized and followed by a period. Notice that this container is also italicized and followed by a period. It is important to distinguish between the two types of sources so that you can style them in the proper way. It is also important to use proper capitalization rules. Notice how all titles begin with large caps. However, not all words in the titles begin with capital letters. For example, the articles a, an, and the, if they appear in the beginning of the title or as the subtitle after the colon, they should be capitalized. If a, an, or the appear in the rest of the title, use lowercase. Prepositions such as for, of, into, and as are also lowercase if they appear within the title and not at the beginning. If in doubt, please double-check the rules outlined in the MLA Handbook for Writers of Research Papers and also consult this helpful website, Capitalize My Title. You can place the title of your source in the bar that they provide, make sure it's set to MLA, and then they will help you to double-check to make sure your title is being capitalized properly.